You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
What is up, punters and dribblers? Welcome back to another episode of the Hello Sport Podcast, All Talk Edition. Joining us this week, I'll let you in a little secret. Greatest off-spinner all time. Number 8, wicket takers all time. Number 1, bloke all time.
Sings the team's song. People call him the GOAT.
Yeah.
He bowls offies.
And he's in studio with us. He came in to talk all things Test Championship, the Ashes, Heddingley, head noise, and also the new service he's got, which is GOATed. Now, if you go to goatdverse.com on the interwebs, you'll be able to sign up or you'll be able to find out more of what it's about. There's a freemium version and a premium version where you are able to go and get access to content from players, high-profile players. Nathan, obviously the first one on the platform, bowling coaching, batting coaching, sports psych, behind-the-scenes shit that you're not going to get anywhere else.
Incredible content.
Unless you found Nathan in a Woolies and bailed him up for fucking 4 hours.
Still, he's not going to go through a half an hour bowling masterclass.
Well, you wouldn't think so, but maybe you give him a bloody apple and you get him down one aisle of a Woolies and you go, show me.
Yeah.
Show me, Nathan.
You'd probably get one good seed out of him.
And the apple would explode on the floor and then he'd nip off.
And then he'd go, well, I'm not picking that up.
No.
Because you made me. So you're better off going to GOATed.
Yeah.
Goatdverse.com. That's the place to go. Great chat with Nathan. He's a professional. He's a gentleman. He's a bit of a larrikin too. He's not afraid to get into the weeds, as it were. Some strong opinions, some good opinions. The great Nathan Lyon.
Let's just talk GOATed off the top, right? So this is your new... Would you just want to explain to people what GOATed is, how it works, and what's launching today?
Yeah. So I'm pretty pumped about it, to be honest. It's GOATed's an online platform built by elite athletes to connect with their fans and aspire young boys and girls. And this is a family business that we spoke around at the dinner table at home, and they come off a couple of things that Cricket Australia was doing with a company called Rario, but so we decided to do something totally different in our own space, I guess. And I know, being a country kid, it's all about me connecting with the country kids and giving back to the game that's given me so much. So that's where GOATed has, launches today, which is pretty cool. So I've sat down with a sports psych, PT, batting coach, bowling coach, a teammate, and just unloaded everything. There's about all up at the moment. There's 180 minutes of me just opening up on about all range of different things and just talking about that. So I know I find it pretty interesting, and the way I look at it, if I had access to Shane Warne when I was 14 as a kid, you would jump at the opportunity.
100%.
And usually it seemed like when you think back to those days, the access you had was almost other people giving you that access to Shane, where this seems like you're empowering players to sort of give to be in control of the access themselves. Is that sort of what it is, in the sense of like, so for yourself, obviously you're working with who you want to, or like you're speaking about what helps you be the best athlete, right? And you're choosing how to impart that knowledge onto whoever wants to sign up. Yeah,
100%. It's all unscripted. It's all raw. It's up to athlete to talk about what they want to talk about, or if they want to share what they want to share. We've got another athlete who's pretty high up in the rugby league world jumping on, and he's going to be launching in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see his story and the setbacks that you have. Like for me, I sat down and spoke about elephant in the room. Everywhere I go is about, everyone wants to know about me dropping the ball in Heddingley at Leeds.
That wasn't going to be something we were going to touch on. No. It's
going to England in a couple of weeks, so I know everyone's going to remind me about it. So I'm getting used to it. But I literally sat down with the psych, and you go having meetings with different psychs or whoever, and it's all confidential. I've literally set a camera in the room and just unloaded everything about that moment and what I was feeling, how I felt before, during, after type thing, and just unloaded everything. So you get this whole different access to athletes. For me, it's about failing and not fearing failing and understanding that's where you learn and all that stuff. So I know it's just a different insight, and hopefully people will get on and
I
just
wanted to get it because we were flicking around the website before, and I wanted just to have a couple. So like you sign up to it, there's like a annual subscription fee for it. That's correct to join, to become like a subscriber to you specifically, or is it to the whole platform?
So there's a freemium model where I think there's around 30 odd minutes where you can just jump on, use your email, jump on and get access to those free minutes. But then if you wanted to just pay, I don't even know the fees of it. My back office does all that.
Sure.
I think it's $88 for some athletes, and then there's the ultimate one. I'm not sure exactly.
There's
how
like
much.
tiered packages,
Yeah,
I think.
for me, there is. Yeah.
So you can have access to you, or you can have access to all the athletes.
Yeah, I think there's when you access me, if you get the premium, the top, it's legendary, Mitch, isn't it? The legendary pass.
Yep.
You'll get access to the other athletes as well.
Yep.
So that's the more expensive one, but at the moment we've got 180 minutes of content there.
Yep.
Mitch and I are going to be filming another 40 odd minutes about during the Ashes.
Yep.
And the Ashes recap and all that stuff as well.
So can you give some insight into what makes up that 180 minutes? What sort of things you talk through?
Yeah, so did the psych.
Yep.
I've done my PT that I do away from New South Wales and Cricket Australia stuff.
So how you're in such good nick?
Yeah. This is how you get a dad bod like this. And then batting coach, the stuff I do with the spin bowling coach.
Mm-hmm.
So who I believe is the best spin coach in the world. So it's just away from Cricket Australia, everything. It's just me being me and what I do to prepare and everything like that.
Bit of a masterclass.
Does your coaches, are you speaking to your coaches in these videos?
As in Andrew
So like your spin
McDonald's
coach, so like your spin coach, your batting coach, are they in those videos
Yep,
as well?
yep.
Wow, so they're getting like really good access to high level coaching and insight on
Yeah.
this platform.
Yeah. So like, I've basically just sat down with them or just had a microphone on and filmed while I've been training. And from the basic skills to what I'm trying to get better at. And just, I know, passing on a little bit of knowledge. If boys and girls want to see what I do, whether, I know Ravi Ashwin wants to jump on and have a look at it.
Yeah.
You'll see what I do here in Australia to hopefully potentially improve his bowling here in Australia, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah.
You hear that, Ravi?
Mate, Ravi's mad not to jump on. I'd be blocking him out.
Yeah, you should geo-block India.
Well, just geo-block his name. You'll have to use an alias, mate, if you want to sign on. That sounds sick, though. Like, if I was a kid and I could watch how you bowl or get a masterclass in that, I'd be jumping all over that, for sure.
How did you find the sports psych side of things in the sense of after, that moment, did you feel like you needed a sports psych, or is that just something that, as part of being a professional athlete, like it's there, so you take it? Like, do you know what I mean? Did you feel like, holy shit, I need to process that one?
Well, Michael Lloyd, the sports psych that I use, he was employed by Cricket Australia for close to 15 years or something. So I come into the setup, he was already there at the Centre of Excellence and stuff. So I kind of, by that time, it's just a mate talking to a mate, so it doesn't feel like a sports site. You sit down there and lay down on the bed and look at the roof or anything like that. It's just literally having a conversation with someone, and I think it's really important in, everyday life. If you can talk about how you're feeling and all that stuff, it's so important. But in professional athletes, you got social media who everyone's got their own opinion, and they're willing to share it, whether you're good, bad, or what. I think it's so incredibly important that you can actually talk to someone, understand what you did really well, what you didn't do well, and where you can learn from that as well. So I don't know, the sports psych that was my favourite part out of Goated, I reckon, just being able to, release everything and show people that you are vulnerable and you are real as well. So,
do you see him regularly still, or is it for like moments?
No. I talk to him a fair bit.
Yeah, okay.
Even though he's not employed by CA now, he's doing stuff with rugby sevens and different sports. He only come over for dinner last week to my house. He's in Sydney. He's from Brisbane, so it's just having that relationship that you're able to build and
Is it basically sort of just getting things off your chest, or do you talk about specific aspects of your game in terms of how to deal with pressure, how to act in a certain situation, how to keep cool, calm and collected, that sort of thing? Or is it more just a place to sort of vent almost?
No, it's everything, mate. It's absolutely everything. Like I talk about, especially that moment of going, okay, I've screwed up. Let's be honest. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 seconds now to compose myself, get back on top of my mark, and I've still got a chance to win this game. And in my head, this is going to sound weird, in my head, I won the game. It's just the fact that the umpire wasn't playing LBW.
That was after the fact as well, that was out.
Yeah, that was the next ball.
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. So you'd actually mentally, you'd got yourself back.
Well, well, I had to.
Yeah.
I had no choice. I stuffed up. I made a mistake. So I had 3 seconds. So this is what I spoke to Lloydie about, like the way I was able to. I go, okay, I'm going to win this game. I've still got the chance to win this game. It's not over.
Yeah.
And I know the results didn't go our way and we burnt a review and all that stuff to lead up. And I can't control that. But it's just that factor of being able to, build yourself up and with the mental side.
If it makes it feel better, the nation knows that it was a wicket.
Yeah.
And we know you didn't burn that review either.
No,
I'm not going to say you did. It wasn't you.
What was the 3 seconds like before you get back and bowl that next ball? Like, or even just that immediate, like, what was that like in your head, that moment?
I'll check on Goated.
True.
That's a good plug.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, no, but
we'll bleep this out.
It's, it's challenging because you look around and you get the crowd going absolutely nuts off the back of your mistake, but then you look around your mates and a couple of their mates, their heads in their hands, there's a couple of teapots floating around or a couple of blokes kicking the ground, whatever it may be. But I can promise you one thing: no one felt as bad as what I did within that. Even today, I still feel bad about it, but it's part of the game. That's where you.
Is it true that you were made to watch it like the next day? You had to watch that whole thing back.
Yeah. So JL said, we had a couple of beers at the end of that game, and a few of us sat down in the restaurant just at the hotel and had a meal and a few beers, and had a message come around saying, I think it was 8 o'clock coffee, team walking coffee. And I don't drink coffee, so I'm like, why do I have to come for a walk and go for a coffee? Surely I can have a sleep in. Anyway, so we got downstairs, walked, and about to walk out, and they said, oh, no, we're going upstairs first. And went up there, and our analyst is there with a bloody big projector and big screen, and it's got the last 10 overs.
Oh my God.
It's funny because like purely by like coincidence, someone sent us it wasn't a meme, but it was like don't forget the day after the Ashes, they had to go and watch this. It's Heddingley, right?
Yeah, Heddingley.
Yeah, the day after Heddingley, the boys had to go and watch the 10 overs, and I just saw it and I was like, get out of here. That is crazy. What was it like? Were you dirty having to do that, or was it like, well, this is kind of what it's about, or how was it reliving that so close to the event?
I was filthy.
Yeah.
I was absolutely filthy because just got through the night, having a couple of beers, trying to forget about it, laying in bed and staring at the roof, thinking about your mistake and all that stuff. And then the next morning we go downstairs and we got to watch
when your anxiety's at its highest.
And it's on the test doco, the first one, and I look absolutely filthy on camera, like hood on, hat on, just shake my head, like not engaging in any conversations.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I think that was probably the best thing JL did as coach, especially for me at that stage, was to actually go through it and talk about it. But then the way Paney took control of his team right then, even after that test match, I think was probably up there with the best leadership I've seen.
He came across as a real alpha in that test doco, especially after that loss. Just basically, if my memory serves me, just being like, stick to the plan, like stick to what got us here. Yeah, Paney. Yeah. And then you come out and rip them apart in that next test. Would that have been the fourth test?
Yeah, Manchester,
Yeah.
Yeah, Paney, I don't know, I'm happy to say Paney's probably the best skipper I've played under. Okay. And that's not saying that Michael Clark and Steve Smith, Pat Cummins aren't great captains, I feel like Paney, he was never the big dog in the team. He's never going to be the best player in the team. When you got the likes of Pat, you got Michael Clark, you got Steve Smith, or whoever it may be.
Ricky.
Yeah. Punter, Huss, like we sit here all day talk about it. He was never going to be the top dog. So he kind of realised that and he was like, right, okay, no, I am the captain of this team and this is the way we're going to go about it. So I think, I'm happy to sit here and say he was the best captain I've played under. There you go.
Wow.
There you go. He certainly comes across that way. He just sort of seems to be oozing out of his pores.
Well, it was when he came in, right? Like it was obviously a hectic time, and then it sort of very quickly, I felt comfortable with him. You know what I mean? Because everyone's like, "Oh shit,
He felt
what's going
safe,
on here?"
like a dad coming in to just go.
Like a dad, you know.
Let everyone just calm down. Dad's got it.
Dad's got it.
You know?
Yeah.
That's certainly how I felt. That's the way it came across. And I don't know him from a bar of soap, obviously. But when he spoke in press conferences, he calmed me because that was a tumultuous period when he came in. How do you reflect on the saga in South Africa and everything after it? Do you look back and just go, that was a wild time in my life? Or are you just glad that it's in the rear vision mirror?
Oh, I think, well, I'm glad it's in the rear vision mirror. There's no point hiding behind that. But you look back and you go, shit, what was happening? Like that was a wild time. That's one thing, one way. But I think we went through it. We've learnt from it, and I think Australian cricket's in a better place now for it. If I'm being honest with you, I think, and I've said it before. I think we probably went through a stage as Australian cricket team where we got quite arrogant in the way we were playing the game of cricket, and that's not Australia in my eyes. I feel like Australia plays extremely confidently and etc., but we're not arrogant. So I feel like having that mishap, being able to learn through it, go through the public shame and all that, but to rebuild the Australian cricket team and make Australian fans proud of the Australian cricket team again, I think that was actually one hell of a journey to be on, and I'm so proud that I was able to ride that whole wave and with all the other boys and make Australian cricket so proud again, and go over to the Ashes over into 19 and then come back here and I don't know, just play the brand of cricket that we've been able to play. It's been pretty special.
Punters and Dribblers, we are brought to you by Neds. Number one betting platform on planet Earth. That is an objective opinion held by myself and Edward Simpson sitting to my right. Now, we have a private betting group within the Neds app. It's an About Even betting group. About Even is the number one betting show on planet Earth, the show that we also host. The secret password is Dribbler if you want to join in.
It's not open sesame, although I can see how that would be confusing.
Yes.
The secret password is Dribbler to join the group. Come in for a bit of a giggle, bit of a yarn, share your tips, share your bets.
If you watch About Even, number one betting show on planet Earth, you would have heard me pick Bradman Best for a double on the weekend. Only person in the history of humanity to do so, and everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, people are whispering about it for sure. People are talking about it at the water coolers.
Yeah.
Obviously, shout out to Timmy from SC Playbook for short balling us to Scotty Sorensen, first try scorer as the Panthers humped the Roosters. That was paying 34s, punters and dribblers, $34 dues.
On Neds.
It's just, it buys you a nice dinner, you know what I mean?
It does.
It's as simple as that. It buys you a nice dinner. Lobsters,
Caviar,
prawns, oysters, 12 of them. But you could think about 24 if you wanted with a 34 fill up. Champagne, Verve, obviously, just the niceties, the nice stuff. Shout out to Scotty Sorensen and shout out to Ned.
Shout out to Neds, but obviously punters and dribblers, we like to have a bit of fun. We like to have a laugh, but please, if you are going to have a punt, gamble responsibly. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website. What do you think about Stuart Broad saying that 19 series doesn't count because of COVID?
That's just a wind-up. Sure.
What a load of crap that is.
A load of shit.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I don't understand what they're complaining about. They're out of the English winter.
Yeah.
Here in Australia. Yeah, okay, COVID wasn't great, but we're out there playing a game that we love. Like, there's a lot of people doing it a lot worse than what we're doing.
Yeah.
And for him to come out and say that, I think it's total bullshit, to be honest.
Do you see that, when you hear that, do you just think that's him playing mind games early?
No, they can try and play.
Do you think he
mind games
believes
as well.
that? Or is he
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
what I'm
just talk
trying to
some
work
shit?
out.
Yeah.
Is that just him talking shit, or do you think he genuinely believes that?
No, he doesn't believe that. Because he looked like he was trying a fair bit when he was out here. So, and it looked like he was enjoying taking wickets or whatnot. So he doesn't believe that. He's just talking shit.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Do you ever feel like an urge to come back in the media when he says stuff like that and just like rib in your own way?
I've got quite a dry sense of humour, and a lot of people don't get my humour. So what I say, people will sit there and try and process it for a long period of time before they either laugh or they don't. So I don't worry about it.
Was it the Home Ashes series after when you're all celebrating in Tassie, and there was that video where we can take anything out as well if you like. You don't want to talk about it, but I wasn't sure. But what was that like? I remember seeing that video and being like, I'm embarrassed of my own country.
When the
boys are
came
ripping on the
up.
roof and it's like, nah, get inside, and you guys were like, oh fuck. And there were a couple of English boys with you as well.
Yeah. So
I was embarrassed.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting story. So we didn't get back to the hotel until 1 o'clock. So it wasn't like we finished the game at 5 p.m. and we were drinking until sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got back to the hotel around 1 o'clock as a day-night game, and was just sitting down there and seeing with COVID stuff, they weren't allowed in our change room. So we were at the same hotel. That was the only place where we could have beers and have a chat. And like I played grade cricket with Joe Root both before we played international cricket back 13, 14 years ago. So I've known him for a long time.
Right.
And anyway, so we were all sitting inside down in Hobart, and one of the staff the English started having a cigar. Then the hotel managers kicked off that we're going to set the fire alarm off and all that and stuff. And it was Jimmy Anderson myself said, look, no stress, we'll just go outside. Like, we'll turn the music right down, we'll go outside and just finish the 6 beers or 12 beers of what we had left then we'll go to bed, see the sunrise, then we'll go to bed type thing. And they're like, nah, we're calling the cops. And we're like, nah, it's all right. Don't need to call the cops. It's totally fine. Anyway, so we didn't think anything of it. So we just walked outside, grabbed the little speaker in the SQ and went outside. There was Alex Carey, Travis Head, myself, Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, Joe Root, and a few other players just left. Next minute, look over our shoulder, and we've got 5 coppers and stand there.
Were they embarrassed? Were they like, sorry guys, we realised what's going on? Or they're like serious in that situation?
No, they were pretty apologetic with it all, but the staff member who had lit the cigar was still carrying on like a pork chop, so they got a little bit
Pissed off
more.
Yeah. Was he lighting a cigar inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's. I mean.
Yeah. We get it. I'm happy to have beers, but don't smoke inside when there's 500 people in hotel rooms.
And it was an English guy.
Yeah.
Cigars usually reserved for the winners as well. I don't know if that's a play.
Well, listen. Historically, Tom.
Yeah. That's
Reserved for the champions.
Yeah,
4-0.
exactly.
Whatever.
You guys just got back from India, like relatively recently. I was wondering whether when I can't remember which test it was where they turned in one of the most like ridiculous wickets. But as a spinner, are you sort of looking at it and being like, well, I don't give a shit. I kind of like this thing when it's like a bit of a minefield.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
And the thing yes, I'm a spinner and I get the joy of it. I feel like the eyes that come on the game from the public, because it spins, everyone seems to panic. And they don't like it but something's happening every ball.
Yeah.
I feel like the public or the fans are watching every ball, whether it goes 2.5 days or 3 days or 4 days. I feel like everyone's watching it. Where you play that last test match in Ahmedabad, and the ball doesn't bounce, doesn't spin, doesn't swing, doesn't seam, doesn't do anything. And I'd be surprised how many people watch that whole game.
Yeah, that was a tough one, the last one.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is so much. It is
fun.
Incredibly fun. The conditions are so different, and the game's happening every single ball.
And everyone's chirping, and it's alive, and the crowd's into it. I think from a test cricket perspective, it's better for sure. But as a spinner, you must just lick your lips and just go.
It's good fun.
This is good fun.
It is good fun. You'd never not want to bowl type thing.
Yeah.
But there's no point. I've been over there heaps of times now playing test cricket, and you get at the start, you put your back up and go, oh, this is crap. They shouldn't be producing these wickets. Like, it's borderline cheating and all that stuff. We went over this time, and this is credit to Pat and Smithy, our leaders, and Ronnie, our coach, is that let's embrace it. Let's embrace the panic and the chaos that India and Pakistan and these places have, and go out there and play cricket and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's bloody good fun.
It seemed like a wild environment, India, to play cricket at. Like, it just seems like a really intense culture shock almost.
Yeah. Do you enjoy those tours?
Oh, yeah, you got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, it's a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because you're 8 weeks, 9 weeks over there, and if you're not enjoying it, you can get cabin fever pretty quickly.
Yeah, right.
But, yeah, it's a totally different culture to what we're used to here.
Yeah.
And if you're someone like Davey or Smithy or all these guys who perform in the IPL so much, like they live and breathe cricket over there. It's pretty amazing to see.
How's Davey when he's over there? Is he just swamps?
Yeah,
Because
they
obviously
can't go anywhere.
he's got the big TikTok now. He's won the IPL. He's been a stud over there in the past. Is it hard for him to move?
Oh yeah, well inside our hotels are okay, but if you go outside with David or Smithy or these guys, it becomes a little bit of a circus. Yeah,
I think I saw a video even maybe on Usman's Instagram or something where it was like he was standing at the airport or something and just had to he was just taking photo after photo, and it was like the boys were all coming through the airport and going out to the bus or going somewhere else. And Davey, credit to him, who's been on here before as well, friend of the show.
Yeah.
But he just was there, just getting absolutely pounded. Is it so? I'm assuming you're not getting the same amount of. But I imagine it'd be pretty intense for all of you guys, right? Like they know who you all are.
yeah, it's intense for all of us.
Yeah.
A few of us just don't put it on social media. That's probably the biggest thing. But the biggest image I've got in my head, we're going through Delhi Airport, and honestly, so Davey plays for Delhi,
Yeah.
and the army turns up and they guide us out there. But honestly, there would have been
The
about
army.
20 army police around David, and the rest of us is just following him behind, walking through
really?
the crowd, and they just ushered him out to the
Protect
bus.
Dave at all costs.
Does he love that? Does part of him love that, or is it
Yeah, no, I think he does.
Yeah,
I think he does.
definitely. Mate, you can't be putting TikToks up like that and not love it.
Is he bigger than Brett Lee over there now? Has he
that?
gone past Brett Lee, Binger?
Yeah, I dare say so. Yeah.
Number one.
Number one.
He's worked hard for it, though, in fairness to Davey.
Oh, mate, he's worked his ass off. Some of those dances, phenomenal.
Does he ever get you to be in
I
something?
love it, to be honest. I think it's fucking hilarious. But I do often find myself going, what am I looking at? I don't actually even understand what's happening. It's like he's got his face on some like Indian scene from a movie and they're all dancing. And I'm like, I just don't get it. I love it, but I don't understand.
Does he ever ask you to be in them when the family's away?
What do you reckon? What do you reckon my response would be?
Well, yeah,
I know what your
your
response would be, but does he have the balls to ask you?
he's quite smart, David, so he doesn't ask any of us.
No, right.
It'll be good.
It would be good. Have you ever gone into the IPL auction? Have you ever put yourself forward?
I've been in the auction early doors, but there's no point. It's all about getting the big batters or fast bowlers who can whack it. So,
So I'm not reading messages here either. I've just got notes and shit.
especially when they get a heap of spinners over there.
Yeah.
So
But do you look at that cash and go, be nice?
I think everyone looks at that cash, don't they, and go,
I
that would
do,
be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've thought about rolling the arm over, trying to get something going. It's wild though, isn't it? Because there are players that sort of come up out of nowhere, at least from an Australian perspective, like Tim David, where I'm like, I've never heard of him, and even now, no disrespect to Tim, but like not someone that I don't even know what Tim looks like.
Not a
But I know
household
that
name.
Tim is like a weapon, and that's almost what's exciting about T20. If you're a young cricketer, is that it's like you can kind of be plucked from relative obscurity and have your life changed overnight. It's kind of is that sort of how Warner happened? Not necessarily picked up in IPL, but like it was sort of as T20 was kicking off.
Yeah. If you look back at Davies' career, I think he had that innings against South Africa. I forget, it must have been 2010.
Yeah.
Was that the T20?
Yeah.
Yeah, where he was smacking Dale Steyn out of the ground. Oh, not out of the ground at MCG. It's a big hit, but he was batting with punter, and punter was just going, this bloke's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and David's one of these unique cricketers who's going to go down as one of the greatest to play the game in my eyes.
Yeah.
So, he's it's pretty special.
You're Is it fair to say that your batting, just because we're talking about Warner and Smate, like that your batting sort of, is it a renaissance, or is it that just that you, because it's your brother who's your coach? You're like now one of the more reliable tail enders that we've got, and like you can play you like play really nice shots and shit. Like, but it didn't say that wasn't my memory of you. Like it sort of was this thing that evolved where it was like, oh damn, Gaz is fucking swinging the bat around. Like, how long did that take? And was it like how much of that is working with your brother specifically, as opposed to like, were you always all right at batting or?
I think I was all playing. Growing up in the country and playing as a kid, I was always batting 3 or 4 in grade cricket down there.
Okay.
So I could always bat, or at least try to bat. But then up the grade you go, the faster the bowls are, and you start going, shit, I don't know if I want to do this. And then I started working with Brendan, my brother, who's coaching me, and I know he's got me in a position there now, and all the drills that you'll see on Goated, they're all very basic that like anyone could do, and that's all I do. I don't go and face 150 Ks, but it just gets me in that position. And now I feel like I can't not play a short ball, so I can't leave it. So I'll try and hit it. And my theory is now, well, Brad Haddon helped me come up with this. I might as well get them before they get me, type thing. So
right.
At least have a crack.
Do you enjoy it more now?
Yeah.
It's
pretty obvious.
Have you ever been terrified facing a quick?
Yeah, bloody hell, all the time.
Yeah, so you are scared.
It's not. Well, it's
because I know I'd be scared, and I sometimes watch these blokes just ripping in at 150, going, surely the boys are not loving this.
We don't love it, but it's not. Like, I'm not scared that I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah, right.
But I'm more scared that I'm going to fail and let down my team, and because batting 10 and 11, it's actually quite hard. Because like if we come up and chasing 150 and we're suddenly 8 for 140 and we need 10 runs, the whole Australian public expect you to go out there, and you're sitting there with Josh Hazel going, well, Smithy and Marnus already got out chasing 140, and they expect us to go out and win. So it's quite a hard place to bat. But there was one case against Morné Morkel at Port Elizabeth in South Africa. I went out to do the Nightwatchman role for Smithy. This was back in 2014.
Yeah.
And walked out the bat there, and Morné said, Gaz, don't worry, don't ask about light. I'm going to come around the wicket and kill you. And I went, shit. And I walked up to David, who was at the non-strikers end at the time, said, David, what do I do? I've never faced around the wicket bumpers. He goes, I've got nothing for you, you're just going to have to wear some.
Oh, wow.
So then I went on to get pinned about 5 times in the shoulder and in around the head. And I got through that night. Then Davey got out the next morning. Then Smithy come out in the bat, and I said, mate, I need help here. Seriously, I'm copying it. The same thing was doing the next day around the wicket bounces by him and Stone. And Smithy goes, well, why don't you just back away and pull him over his head? I'm like, this is...
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Or back away and cut him over the point. And I'm like, yep. Back away, cut him over the point. And he followed me, and I cut it on the stumps. Been most relieved getting out.
Yeah.
I bet you
Thank
were.
God.
You were often thrown in, and still are thrown in, as the night watchman. What's your opinion on that? Are you sometimes like, surely the best batsman in the world should be going out to protect his wicket instead of sending me out at fading light? Or do you love it?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I only go out when the batters are scared. That's what a lot of people don't realise. So you ask me if I get scared.
Yeah.
I get scared and I can't bat. But I get sent out there when the ball's dark. They've got a new ball and they're fresh.
Yeah.
And I don't get sent out when they're bowled 30 overs into a spell.
No.
And we're 3 for 450. I don't get sent out then.
No, you don't get the good conditions.
No.
No, I get sent out when it's dark, new ball, and there's no time left in the day.
Yeah. Nipping about.
Struggling.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're coming up, were you always an offie bowler? And again, not like, was that something, were you always good at it? Was there a period where you, I guess, realised that you had what it took? And when was that? Like, how old were you recognised by the scouts?
No, I did everything as a kid. Growing up in the country.
Where'd you grow up?
Young,
Oh, yeah.
so about 4 hours southwest of
Yeah.
Sydney. And Dad ran the whole junior cricket and basically senior cricket programs. And I'd open the bowl seam up, then Dad would give me make me take the keeping gloves to give everyone a go. Then I'd come and bowl spin at the end, but then bat all the range of different positions. But our backyard was a little slope, and my brother was actually a really good leg spinner, and he idolised Shane Warne, as did all the kids at my age growing up. And Brendan was the leg spinner, and I was never strong enough to spin back up the hill to Brendan, so I had to find a way to get the ball to Brendan so he'd keep bowling with me. So that's how I became an off-break bowler. But I didn't get recognised. I got recognised around... I got told at 16 that I need to move to Sydney if I want to play first-class cricket. And to tell a kid still living in Young, who's got a population of 7,000 people, that you need to move out of home and move up here at 16, I said, no, you can have that. I'm not doing that at all. So then I went on to Canberra. Then the story goes from there. But I didn't get recognised till I was probably more about 19 or 20 that I started to get recognised from a couple of states.
How old were you when you debuted for Australia?
23.
Shit, it's funny. You were young. Like, as you know, 23 is young just generally, right?
It's young,
but like to debut for, and was it, where did you debut? Was it India? Or am I making that
Sri Lanka.
up? Sri Lanka, right. When you wicket first ball?
Yeah.
That's pretty hectic. That must have felt good.
Yeah, pretty hectic when you look at it now. But yeah, when you bowled over 30,000 odd balls and you're only taking 480 wickets, it's not a great conversion, is it?
Is that the ratio? Is it? Yeah, right.
something like that. But yeah.
But yet you're still third all time for Australia.
Yeah.
So the conversion must be pretty good.
Yeah, not when you look at it like that, though, is it?
No, well, listen, you can make it look shit if you want to.
Have you got your eyes on Pidge? Do you ever think about something like that?
Well, I get asked about it all the time, so it's hard not to have your eye on it. But I don't know. I've never really wanted to have a limit on how many wickets I can take. I still enjoy it. And if I bowl well enough, I'll create chances. And if I create chances, hopefully I'll take a few wickets.
Are you, what was I going to say? That so when you were 23, did you get dropped after coming in? Or like how many times were you in and out of the side once you got picked for Australia?
I missed a test in Perth, probably around my 8th test match. Starkey come in against the Indian over there. Then I got dropped in India for Glenn Maxwell and Xavier Doherty. Then the last time I got dropped was about in 2013 for Ashton Agar.
How long after you, at what point do you feel completely comfortable in the side? Like, obviously now you're a senior member, you're singing the song, you're entrenched in the side. How long does it take for you to feel like, okay, I'm here now, like my position isn't necessarily under threat and I'm an Australian player?
I hate the word comfortable, if I'm being honest. I know it's pretty cliche and all that stuff, but in a professional environment with elite sportsmanship, and sportsmen that people pick you to play for Australia, like no one's ever guaranteed to play the next game or whatever. So I hate the word comfortable because as soon as I feel comfortable, I can get taken away from me like that. So I always said that if I can play 20 to 30 test matches, I'd call myself a test cricketer. But I've been obviously fortunate enough to do a little bit more than that. So I know. Feeling okay at the moment.
Yeah. Right.
Tom touched on it before. You sing the team song, handed down to you by the great Michael Hussey. Did you see that coming, or did that catch you completely off guard?
It's quite an honour, right?
It's massive. It's more important than the captain in my eyes. Because you get to control the celebrations. It's a pretty unique story. No one really knew that Huss was going to retire before the Sydney Test back in 2012, and we played in Boxing Day. Then we got in the car. It was Shane Watson, Hussey and myself. Watto was driving, obviously always injured, so he wasn't drinking, unfortunately. But Huss goes, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to retire after Sydney. Haven't really told many people. I'm going to make an announcement before Sydney, but just want to tell you guys, like, we're pretty close with Huss and still am. But then we got back to the hotel and I was in shock. Went back to the room and sitting there just having a beer, about to go downstairs and go to the bar. And Huss calls me. Said, can you just come up to my room? I said, yeah, no worries, Mr. Hussey. Straight up, like, drop everything and go up there, and took a couple of beers with him. And the boy knocked on his door and he handed me this letter, and I've got the letter at home, and it's just, I don't know, just saying, I want you to take over the team song and all this stuff. And so he told me this in Melbourne. Then so he goes, but you can't tell anyone for a week because there's all this media talk about it, and I'm going to announce it when we win in Sydney. So I'm like, all this media talk, who's it going to be? It's going to be Warner or Wade. That's the only two people who can be. And I'm sitting in the team, and everyone's talking about it. All the boys are talking about guessing who's it going to be and all that stuff. And I know.
And are you coming up at all? Is anyone even mentioning you at least?
No, I think someone said, it might be Gaz because Huss loves him. And I'm like, it can't be me. But I'm an off-break bowler. I'm not. There's no way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the whole week went past. There was all this media talk about it, Warner or Wade, which one's it going to be? And then we had we sing True Blue before the team song. So John Williamson actually come in and played it live, which was pretty cool, with a few beers after we won against Sri Lanka. And then, Huss told everyone, then shocked a few... Shocked a few people.
Yeah, was anyone dirty? Was Davey dirty?
I don't know. I've never asked. It was a pretty cool experience.
I can imagine. And was everyone pumped for you? Like, is that one of those things where everyone's like really stoked when it's announced? Almost like when someone's named like to debut, is everyone like, getting around you?
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. I wish, like, back in the day where we didn't film anything, where now we got doing the test doco and everything, it would have been pretty cool to have on film. But so you can sit back and remember in 20 years' time or whatnot what happened. But it's pretty special. What's
your favourite time you've wielded your power in terms of like delaying it or taking the song somewhere different?
That's a good one. You've got me off guard. Probably the biggest one was after Hughesy died. We went out on the ground. There was 408 on the ground. We got this amazing photo, and it just happened. Everyone got in a circle, and I actually got out of the circle as well, and just part of the boys. And we, as a team, we make the perfect zero out in between the 4 and the 8. So it looks incredible,
epic,
unbelievable photo.
Love that.
That's great.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest one. But I know I've held it on for probably too long a couple of times, and a few people get pissed off.
And are you just taking the piss in that sense, or are you just like, no, it's not? Like, do you just have to feel the vibe? What's the vibe got to be for you to start?
Yeah, it all goes off the vibe and on the energy of the group. But there was a couple of times where I was young and probably arrogant with it a little bit, and
drunk on power.
Yeah, and a few people are like, and when people want to go, they come on. Start asking you.
Yeah, we've heard that before. A couple of famous stories.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I went to a stage when everyone asked me, I'd delay it another 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So I got to a stage where everyone was asking me, and I'm like, no. And just kept it going until I don't think Jono actually come and put me in a headlock and said, you got to sing the song. I said, yeah, right, okay.
Right, I will do it.
Do you give much thought to who you might pass it on to?
Yeah, all the time. It's quite hard, though. Like, I know, Huss, when he said it to me, you play in the right way, and you enjoy having a beer and all that stuff. So then you look around the group now and you go, okay, who could I? It's a pretty hard job to even consider passing on. So don't ask me who, because I've got no idea.
We obviously mull a couple.
Yeah, we mull a couple of names every once in a while.
If you want to talk through a couple off camera, mate, we're more than happy to do that.
Send them through.
Yeah. Do you? It's difficult as well because like, what happens if you get dropped? Like, who passes? What happens then?
Yeah. It was interesting because when I got handed the team song, we went from Sydney straight to India, lost 4-0, and I got dropped in that time. Then we went to England and we lost 3-0. So I went and played 9 test matches after getting handed the team song, 9 test matches, and we didn't win it. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to be the first bloke ever to get handed the team song but never actually get to sing it.
I think you dropped.
Get dropped out of it. So, because I remember I got dropped in Hyderabad, and I went up to, I think I went up to Hads at the time, and I said, mate, I've been dropped. If we win this test, I want you to lead it because it's not me. He goes, we'll see, play it by ear when it comes there. But I never felt comfortable if I got dropped to lead the team song. So
yeah, right. So did they ever win when you were dropped? And then so that's all right. You never had to see. You never had to come out in your team tracksuit or whatever in your polo and get into it.
Or you put your kit back on.
Just wear some pads out there and start singing it. Oh my God. You were mentioning before how like when it got announced, there was no one filming, and now there's a lot more. Like, you got cameras around and docos and all that sort of stuff. Has that been a weird transition as like having cameras in there? Do you feel uncomfortable at times, or is it something that's you kind of got used to quickly?
We got really lucky with Andre, the guy behind the camera. He just fitted in to our group. Like, it never actually felt like there was a big camera like following you every movement. But he was really clever with the way he put his GoPros around. So, like, you go into the change room, blowing up, kicking cans or whatnot, and you actually wouldn't even know that you're being filmed.
Okay.
So he was very clever like that. But towards the end of it, he just got so comfortable with everyone that if he was blowing up and camera there, and you're like, if you didn't want it, Doc, get out of it type thing. So he was actually worked out really well. So it's totally different now compared to when I started, but it's I think a lot of public are enjoying the test docos though. I think we're going to be doing the World Test Championship final, the Ashes and the World Cup. I think that's the next one that they're planning on doing.
That's cool. What was it like seeing yourself back in that doco?
Awkward. Yeah, and hard to watch. Like that first one, like hard to watch a couple of things. I found it hard to watch. Have you guys seen it?
Yeah.
I found it hard to watch the my hat presentation to Travis Head. Hated it.
Yeah.
Why was that though? Because like it was kind of nice, wasn't it?
I thought it was nice, but I can see how looking back at yourself doing it.
Yeah. I guess seeing yourself do anything can be uncomfortable, especially if something's a bit like sort of quite sincere.
Yeah, like cause it's quite a special moment. Yeah. And there hasn't been many filmed like that before.
Yeah.
And
you might only get a snippet of it, right?
Yeah. But that was word for word, everything like that. And I was just like, and I had his mum literally behind me, and as soon as I got the hat, I pulled the hat out of the back of my pants and to present Trav, and she just so I was like, oh shit, here we go. But I found that hard to watch, but also obviously Heddingley leads and that.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Are we playing in Heddingley this year?
Yeah.
We are?
Yep.
Okay.
That's going to be a warm welcome.
Yeah.
I bet there will be. Do you, not to insert ourselves into this, but we often do. Yep. We did a live stream the other night in front of Broncos fans. We're Manly fans. We got absolutely pumped. And as much as you're getting shredded by the crowd, there's something almost enjoyable about it. Do you enjoy playing in front of like an English crowd, just getting heckled the whole time? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, especially when it's clever. It gets you thinking. But it's not great when it's pure abuse, whether it brings in, like we've had family members being called into it. That's no line. Have a crack at me no matter what, though. I enjoy it because it's funny. After Leeds, that test match, we went to Manchester, and I was obviously fielding at point, and every time we bowled, the ball would go to Paney, go to Smithy, they'd throw it to me, and every time they go, oh yeah, every time I caught it, and I'm like, oh, this will be funny for 5 overs. This will be funny. No, the whole time. the whole time. I bowled 20 odd overs that day. So every time the ball went from the keeper to me or the mid on or wherever the ball went, they threw it to me in the air.
Yeah.
Big cheer. Then when I caught it, the crowd erupted. And I was just like, "Come on, guys, this is."
So basically 120 times.
Yeah, just getting you. That's funny. That's funny. You're when do you guys head over for the Test Championship?
We're heading off on the May 26th.
Okay, so not far now.
Yeah.
You got camps and stuff now. Like, are you guys training all together at the moment? Like,
the Sydney guys are. We go up to Brizzy next week for all the guys in Australia. Head up there. I think there's about 9 of us up there. But then we all meet and we go to a little town called Formby outside Liverpool.
okay.
We're training there, playing a bit of golf, have a couple of beers and get stuck into it.
Yeah. Throw the Duke around.
Yeah, good finds.
Do you like bowling with the Duke?
Yeah. It's hard early doors when it's real slippery, but no, it's pretty good.
And what's morale like? The boys pumped up for a win?
Oh yeah, I've said this a couple of times now. I think this group of players, this Test squad, is probably the tightest that we've been. Like, the banter is extremely high, and it goes another level in England because everywhere you go, it's on buses. So there's card games, there's banter. There's sometimes Smithy brings his guitar on and starts singing.
Does he really?
It's absolutely horrible. But
Oh my God.
But banter is strong throughout the whole.
Great.
Does he bring it on sincerely?
I don't know. I actually think he thinks he's good, and that's really
tough,
hard because
yeah.
I remember I filmed him once. He just sat across from me and he started singing Ed Sheeran's song or something. I was just like, mate, this is killing cats.
Will he put one on his gram? Were we talking about Lewis Capaldi? Is he put that one on? Is that the?
Oh, I'd have to check. I can't.
There was
recall.
one that I swear he put on his gram, and you're like, holy fuck! Like, never knock a man for having a crack, but good God, it was.
Come on, Smithy. Just
It was in the
state the batting.
You know what? Wait until you've really got it polished before you whip it out on the gram, dude. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
So what do you reckon? 3-0, 4-0 Australia, 5-0?
5-0.
Yeah,
5-0.
It's
If
interesting.
if the rain gods are good to us.
It's really interesting. People ask you that, and when people go, 3-1 to Australia, I've never gone over there planning I was going to lose a game.
No.
Yeah.
So I find it a really weird question that people ask you. It's always going to be 5-0. Yes, we'll win the Test Championship final. Of course, I'm going to think that. If I don't think that, I might as well stay at home.
Yeah, but we will though as well. You know what I mean?
Well, it'll be nice as well to get back at India. Outside of India.
Well, it'd be good to get back and right that wrong. And then
Yeah.
obviously it was 2-2 last time in England, but we retained, obviously. But it was 2-2. So there's some wrongs to be rewritten for sure.
100%.
I wanted to know about the Jeff ball. What is the Jeff ball? But
Who is
also,
Jeff?
who is Jeff? And you've got. It's just when there's like the Duzra, it's like it speaks to like the lands with which it was created. The Jeff ball is like the most Australian name for a ball ever. Like, what does the Jeff ball do? Who's Jeff? Where's Jeff come from?
I don't know. I actually don't know if I can tell that story online or on podcast or on camera, whatever you want to call it.
We'll bleep it, or just we'll wait until we're done. In terms of who's Jeff,
Yeah, I might leave that to after. But yeah, no, I just found it funny that they call these balls like the Deucer and the Karen ball and all this stuff. And
yeah.
it's the same ball that all I'm doing is flicking one exactly what Ashman's doing, but I just thought it'd be funny if I just named something different. And we went through a process of coming up with the name. The people involved in the name making were Brett Lee and a couple of others. So
Were there some other names that were left on the table? Like, was there a?
No, it was really just Binger. We're on a West Indies tour, so
No, I mean, like, was Jeff? What other names did you have other than Jeff, or was it just was
just
Jeff? As soon as you hear Jeff, I'm like,
Yeah.
there is no other name for that ball.
How many wickets you taking with Jeff?
one.
What?
Is that it?
Yeah, I reckon I bowled it twice.
Why is that?
Because I'm just more confident in my stock ball, so I'm like, why would I waste my time bowling?
Bowling Jeff.
Jeff,
Jeff
when I
out
can-
of the bag.
But if you brought up ratios before, right? So 30,000 balls, 408 wickets. I'm hearing a bloke over here with a Jeff ball
In his back pocket.
with a 50% take.
Yeah. I'll actually bring it out. There you go.
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, good. Well, if we see a Jeff in the Test Championship
now I
or the
know.
Ashes, it's for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
that'd be nice.
Are you working on any other balls?
Yeah, always.
Are you?
Always working.
But so do you like? Is there obviously there's got to be a limit to like what you can literally feasibly do with your wrist, right? But like, are you sort of like studying again, not to let any secrets out that may be on-goated, but like, is there are you sitting there in front of a mirror going like, if I was to fucking do that, this would happen, like to try and do something completely different?
I don't sit in front of a mirror and do that, but
I spend a lot of time in front of the mirror. Yeah.
if I'm bowling in the nets, we have what we used to do, expression sessions.
Expression sessions, yes, right. So you just go in there and express
And
yourself.
just try and do something totally different. But to be honest with you, I haven't done one of those sessions in a long time.
It's like a bit of Zoolander vibes. Like, when are you going to drop Magnum on us, Derek? You know, it's like waiting on the new ball to come.
But then you see Magnum, and it's wow. It's a wow moment.
Yeah, it's a wow moment.
Well, maybe more expression sessions, because I wouldn't mind Jeff getting a little brother or little sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I really need to tell you the story, don't I? But I'm not going on camera.
We're hanging around the Jeff story to see if we can get it. Dave, our producer, was telling us before that you kids books. You got a couple of kids books. How'd that come about?
Well, I'm actually in the process of writing an autobiography as well.
Really?
So when time comes and I'll call it quits, that will come on sale and get it out there. But I know I've got two girls who are 8 and 9, and they're always on their iPads. And I got approached by HarperCollins to write a book, and I said I can do that, but I also can do a couple of kids' books if you want, and try and get my kids to read a couple of books, so a couple of nice Gary books, which is they enjoy reading it because it's dad, but it's not dad.
Yeah. So do you? What sort of like? Are you? How much of it are you writing? Or like, are you sort of working with someone to come up with the ideas for the book? Like, what's it about? Is it about you, like a cricketer?
Yeah. It's about a little guy growing up in Youngstown. So just to have like little key messages about bullying and fear of failing and all that stuff. So yeah, I sat down with Michael Wagner, who wrote the book for us, and I threw ideas at him and what my childhood was like, and we'd have back and forth brainstorming. Then he would go away and be the mindset of a writer and put it all together.
What's the process of autobiography like?
That's pretty interesting. That's ripping back everything from childhood to your schooling to everything to where I am now. So trying to remember everything and relive those moments to get your feelings out there and writing that. It's pretty. I'm a couple of chapters in writing that. Obviously got a ghostwriter doing that, but that's pretty unique experience. That.
Do you, with a ghostwriter, do you go and like write out, like, so he might be like, write about your child, write about school, and then you'll go and like just pump out a bunch of memories and then sort of give it to him? Or are you on the phone with him? How does it sort of work?
Literally on the phone or in real life stuff, just sitting down and just talking about it, and he'll ask a question and we'll talk about what I want to talk about, then he'll just ask questions and that will rejig my memory and just go bang and just
go for it. Has he asked you about the Jeff ball yet and the origins of the name?
No, we haven't got there yet. We haven't got there. Only about 3 chapters in.
Okay, cool. The Jeff ball to come.
Yeah, Jeff ball. Have you found it hard to remember things? Because I think back when I read autobiographies, I'm always astounded at the level of detail. Because I feel like when I think back on my life, there's a lot of stuff I just can't remember.
It has been challenging, but I have also written down a couple of things over the years,
right.
And that's helped. But also with what I do, it's everywhere now. Like there's a heap of footage of it. Yeah. There's scorecards. There's obviously all that stuff you can just jump online and get, and that can rejolt your memory as well. So, but also talking to teammates or old coaches or whatnot as well, it's been pretty handy.
Are you a memorabilia guy? Like, do you hold on to like, 5 for balls and like specific things?
Yeah, I've got a heap of that stuff.
So you got like a trophy room with all that sort of stuff?
Yeah. I haven't got all of the balls up yet, but
how many 5s you taken? Because I mean, you need a fucking huge room for some balls, wouldn't you? You've got through a few.
20 odd.
There you go. It's not bad. Well, I mean, I remember seeing, I'm pretty sure when Warner here, he showed us a photo of his man cave. There's like bats on the wall and lights and shit.
Yeah. He's got quite an impressive. Have you been down to his man cave?
Nah.
Warner's? Yeah.
With his golf fucking.
It looks pretty
Yeah,
nice.
it does look good. What's your most prized possession from your career?
I've got a couple of decent shirts and all that stuff set up, but prize, I don't know. It's hard to go past your baggy green, though, isn't it?
Well, that's a fucking great point, actually. I hadn't even thought about that. I'd never thought about the baggy green, which I should, because we've actually, listen, in the Hello Sport universe, there are, for exemplary, acts of, I guess, not necessarily bravery, but just things for the podcast. Basically, we've incentivized our audience over the years. If you do something crazy. Now, listen, crazy is in the eye of the beholder. Some guy made us that sign. Someone made us some Ned Kelly helmets. So it's all over the map in terms of what you can do to
Loyalty,
content
production
for us, silly
exemplary
things.
acts.
Someone built us a trophy. Look, we've been going for a while, and it's sort of, as we've gotten bigger, they've definitely gotten better, the things people have done for us, but what it does get you is a baggy green. It's a Hello Sport baggy green. And it would be remiss of us not to bestow one upon you for feats for Australian cricket. Now, I know you've got one for Australian cricket, but you don't have one from us.
Yeah.
So
you don't have a proper one.
Dave doesn't put it behind me. Oh, thank God. We just wanted to welcome you to the Hello Sport 11. So let me just give you that there.
Thank you.
I'm not going to give you some speech like you gave for Travis Head. I'm just going to give you a nice little thank you for your services to Australian cricket, because it's been wonderful to watch you, and you've given us many great moments.
That will go on the wall at home, don't worry about that.
Yeah, that better
Thank you very much.
mounted. It means a lot.
Yeah, in the trophy room.
Yeah.
The pool room.
The pool room.
Beautiful stuff.
Before we go, Ed, is there anything else that you wanted to ask the great man here?
No, I think we've covered it all off, mate. Thank you very much for your time. You've been very
thank
generous.
you.
And for everyone, again, Goated. It's goatedverse.com online.
Yeah.
Go there and you can check it all out. And there's a shitload of great content you can get. This podcast is now today, but by the time you're listening to it, it's all up and going.
It's live.
Yeah. And good couple of athletes coming on board, so pretty excited by it.
Well, good
Awesome.
leaguey. Good leaguey.
Good league.
You love your rugby league.
Yeah, you're a league man. Do you like? I mean, you're a New South Welshman, but
league man.
who you go for?
Canberra Raiders.
Okay,
Yeah, you're going all right.
they are going all right. Are they Young's team? Is that who would sort of you'd be going for out there?
Hour and a half. So we used to go there all the time and just watch Melvin Inga and Laurie Dale and
glory
Sticky
days.
and
True. You came up when they were killing it.
Yeah.
What about AFL? I've seen you were at an AFL game the other day, weren't you? That Crows or something. I saw a photo of you sitting there.
I was down there for Trav Head's wedding, so
nice.
a few of us went. But going out to the Giants tomorrow with going out to their training session. So
You a Giants man? You like the Giants?
if I'm going to have to pick a side, I'd probably go for the Giants. Yeah.
Well, you probably want to say that before you head out there. You don't want to be picking someone else.
Go kick a couple of torps.
Love it.
Go rip a couple of Torbies. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Easy, thank you.
Could you two just not talk anymore?